What is up, guys? My name is Tion, and today we're going to be figuring out whether you can beat Pokemon Leafgreen with only a Krabby. Many of you guys said Krabby was too weak. Krabby was a joke. Krabby is bad. But look at Krabby's stats and tell me he's bad. Looking at Krabby's stats, he definitely proves you guys all wrong. Krabby has excellent attack, excellent defense, and okay speed. Granted, his HP, special attack, and special defense is on the lacking side. But seriously, guys, Krabby's stats are actually pretty good. His attack stat is really good, and I definitely wasn't expecting this. And you guys also forgot about one crucial move that Krabby could learn. Do you guys see anything on this move list that may be extremely powerful? Anything at all? Yep. Krabby could learn Guillotine. But yeah, I had no idea Krabby could learn Guillotine through level up. That's absolutely amazing. Because he could learn Guillotine through level up, we will not be using items in this one. Even held items. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the rules. Rule number 1. You cannot use any Pokemon in battle besides Krabby, obviously. Rule number 2. You cannot use any items in battle that includes held items. No held items will be in this run. Rule number 3. No glitches / exploits / hacks / anything that can give me an unfair advantage. So now that the rules are out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the run, guys. To make this challenge even harder, I go ahead and replace slot number 2 instead of slot number 1, so our rival has Bulbasaur instead of Charmander. With the rules I have in place and giving our rival Bulbasaur, we definitely have made this as hard as we can. This time our starter is male, and we go ahead and give him the nickname With Butter. I think that is a slight improvement on my normal nicknaming skills, if I do say so myself. Hopping right into our first rival fight, Krabby only starts off with Bubble and Leer. As you saw Krabby's stats, he is definitely not a special attacker, he is a more physical attacker, so this literally does almost nothing to Bulbasaur. Unfortunately, we do lose this rival fight, but we will get our revenge, don't worry. Since we were defeated so easily in that first rival fight, we're gonna go ahead and skip the optional one and go straight to Brock's gym. There's only one mandatory fight in Viridian Forest, and we go ahead and beat Weedle here, only at level 8. After gaining a couple more levels, we go ahead and challenge Brock. Now, Brock is a rock type gym leader, and all we know is Bubble, and that is a good thing and a bad thing at this point. Even though Krabby has absolutely awful special attack, Bubble is enough at this point in the game to take out his Pokemon with only a few bubbles. Now, luckily for us, Brock's special defense on his Pokemon are extremely bad, plus we have a move that is super effective against him, giving us the easy win. That will be the easiest gym fight we will ever have in this run. After we defeat Brock, we get the Boulder Badge and we head through Mount Moon. Defeating every trainer we can for XP, we are now level 18 and we learned Vice Grip along the way. Vice Grip is a physical attacking move and it is very strong for Krabby. After defeating this super nerd, we choose the Helix fossil because literally I get 100 comments asking me which fossil I take. The next battle we have is with our rival in Cerulean City. This battle did take a few attempts because our rival now has Vine Whip on his Bulbasaur, which easily takes us out in one hit. Luckily for me, Bulbasaur goes for Sleep Powder instead of Vine Whip this attempt, giving us the win. The rest of his Pokemon is a joke, and it's really nothing to talk about at this point. After defeating our rival, he tells us to head up to Bill's house because he's a cool guy or something like that. Once we make it to Bill's house, we of course help him with his cell separator machine malfunction and get him back to normal, and he gives us the SS ticket in return. Next up is Misty. Krabby is now level 26 at this point, and we learn Mud Shot. Mud Shot is also a physical move, so we'll definitely be using this one throughout the run as well. Misty starts off with a Staryu at level 18, and we do have quite a large level advantage. Staryu goes down after a couple of Mud Shots, and next up is Starmie. We get Starmie pretty low here, but he ends up using Recover a lot, but in the process he loses speed due to Mud Shot. We do switch up to Vice Grip here, doing a lot of damage, but we do end up finishing off Starmie here with a critical Mud Shot. After defeating Misty, we have to go to the SS Anne. After receiving this Cascade badge, we are on our way to the SS Anne as Krabby's trying to learn Stomp. Now, Stomp is a very good move. 65 power, 100% accuracy, and has a chance to make the opponent flinch. In order just to keep moves for grinding, we replace Leer instead of Vice Grip. Next up is our rival in the SS Anne. Luckily, with Krabby's newfound move Stomp, we're able to stomp through his team. We just end up spamming Stomp, and it literally takes out his entire team. This is a very good move that we will be using throughout the entire run. After helping the Seasick captain, he gives us HM Cut, and we have to go get our HM slave. Like always, we catch a Spearow and trade it to this little girl for Farfetch'd. The main reason we do this trade is because Farfetch'd could learn Fly and Cut. With the Laparis handed to us later in the game, those are the only 2 HM Pokemon you'll need. Now with Farfetch'd in our possession, we're able to teach him Cut and go straight to Lieutenant Surge. Using the super effective Mud Shot that we have, we're able to get pretty far, but his Raichu outspeeds and is easily able to take us out with one Shockwave. Luckily, we win this one just because Lieutenant Surge is not the brightest. We get paralyzed, but it doesn't really matter as his Raichu goes for Double Team instead of Shockwave, and we're able to take him out. I'm not really sure why he went for Double Team there, as he could have easily taken us out with one Shockwave, but luckily for us he does, and we get the Thunder Badge from Lieutenant Surge. After we get out of Rock Tunnel, we go to the Lost Tower, and we are now level 40, and now we know Guillotine. Krabby's strongest move. Guillotine only has 30% accuracy and extremely unreliable. Krabby being at level 40, he doesn't even need Guillotine to smash through his team. A combination of Stomp and Mudshot is enough to tear through his team, and next up is Erica. Erica is a grass type gym leader, and if we're not careful, she could easily one-shot Krabby. Of course, we're not going to rely on Guillotine for this battle, we just go ahead and use Stomp and hope that we get as many flinches as we can. Luckily for us, Victory Bell does flinch, Tangela uses Ingrain instead of an attacking move, and the same thing goes for Vileplume. An easy flinch, easy win. After receiving the Rainbow Badge from Erica, we go ahead and go to the Rocket Hideout. In the Rocket Hideout, Krabby reaches level 45 and wants to learn Crab Hammer. I know it's water type, so it's special, so it's not going to do that much, but we go ahead and replace Bubble for Crab Hammer. After sitting down with Giovanni for a bit, I decide I don't like this guy and decide to challenge him to a battle. Luckily for us, Giovanni does mainly use ground types, and that's going to be good for Krabby because we have access to Crab Hammer and Mud Shot. Onix goes down to one critical Mud Shot as Rhyhorn comes out and gets taken out with one Crab Hammer. Next up is Kangaskhan, and we go ahead and use Stomp, and it does massive amounts of damage and easily takes him out. Krabby is level 46 and extremely strong, and with the type advantage that we have, Giovanni stands no chance. After having an outrage, he drops the Sylph Scope, which lets us see the ghost in the Pokemon Tower. Of course, the ghost in the Pokemon Tower is Marowak, and we easily take it out with a couple stomps. After getting Mr. Fuji out of the Lost Tower, he gives us the Pokeflute, and we go ahead and take on Sylphco. Our rival did cause a couple problems. His Venusaur was easily able to survive anything we did and easily kill us with one move. We had to resort to Guillotine, and luckily it hits. His Gyarados comes out, and I misclick and use Mud Shot when I should have used Stomp. After spamming Stomp, we eventually do get lucky and take out Gyarados. Growlithe is next, and we're unable to one-shot him, and he hits us with a takedown. We're only at 18 HP at this point, and I know our only chance is a Guillotine, and luckily it hits. This battle took a lot of attempts, and it probably would have made more sense to grind instead of getting lucky. After defeating our rival, we receive the free Laparis that the guy gives to us, and we give him the most creative nickname I could think of. Of course, we do run into Giovanni and have to defeat him once again. He starts off with a level 37 Nidorino, which does go down to one Mud Shot. His Nidoqueen takes 2, and luckily we don't get poisoned from the poison sting. Next, he sends out a level 35 Kangaskhan, which hits us with Fake Out and a Mega Punch, but doesn't do very much damage. His last Pokemon's a level 37 Rhyhorn, which goes down to a couple Mud Shots, and just like that, we defeated Giovanni once again. Like I said, I don't see Giovanni ever being a threat in this run, as Krabby is too strong and has the type advantage. After defeating Giovanni, we get the Master Ball from the President and move on to the next gym. Next up is Sabrina. Sabrina is a Psychic type gym leader who could do some massive damage if we're not careful. Luckily, Stomp's enough to take out Kadabra and Mr. Mime in one hit. Unfortunately, Venomoth's able to survive a Stomp as we do go into an all-out healing war, but eventually we do take out Venomoth. Next out is our Alakazam, which goes down to one Stomp, and just like that, we defeated Sabrina. Next up is Koga. Koga did pose a little bit of a threat. His first Pokemon Coughing always started out with Toxic. We're not using items, so Guillotine was a must. Next out is his level 39 Muck. We use Mud Shot, and luckily for us, even though he's spamming Minimize, we end up hitting every single time and eventually taking him out with a crit. Next out is Coughing at level 37, which does go down to a couple of stomps, but he does get off a Smokescreen. Koga then sends out a level 43 Coughing, which also likes to spam Smokescreen, which lowers our accuracy, and eventually he gets the poison on us. If Koga had any healing items left, this battle would have been awful, but we do end up taking out Weezing there with a Stomp and getting the Soul Badge from Koga. Next, we go to the Safari Zone and pick up the gold teeth for the Warden and also pick up Surf along the way. The next gym leader is Blaine. Now Blaine is a fire type gym leader, but I definitely struggled with this one. Even though Fire Blast is resisted on Krabby, it still did a massive amount of damage. His Rapidash and Arcanine definitely caused an issue for us because we were not able to one-shot them. Luckily, Rapidash misses her first Fire Blast, and the only reason why we beat Blaine is because he's dumb. We use Mud Shot twice, which isn't enough, and he gets cocky and goes for Bite instead of Fire Blast again, and we end up living with 2 HP. That was one of the hardest gym battles, even though we had the type advantage and I really wasn't expecting that. The next gym is Giovanni. Giovanni, like I said, it has never been an issue and I didn't think he was gonna be throughout this entire run. Now we do get super lucky on this run. Rhyhorn goes down to 1 critical mud shot, and next out is Dugtrio, which also goes down to 1 mud shot. Next out is Nidoqueen, which also goes down to 1 critical mud shot, and next out is Nidoking, which almost goes down to 1 mud shot. Surprise, surprise. Eventually though, we do keep spamming mud shot and Giovanni runs out of hyper potions, taking out Nidoking. Can you guys guess what happens next? Yeah. Rhyhorn goes down to 1 critical mud shot. Luckily for us, mud shot decides to crit on almost all of his Pokemon and getting the easy win on Giovanni. With all 8 gym badges out of the way, the next challenge is our rival. After losing countless times, I had to grind a few levels and then come back. After getting extremely lucky and making Pidgeot flinch after using Stomp, next out was Venusaur. We have to use Guillotine to take him out. Luckily it lands and then we take out Rhydon with the Crab Hammer. Next up is Gyarados, which I hit with a Stomp, which makes him flinch. Then he hits me with Leer, lowering my defense. After getting hit with Hydro Pump, I then finish off Gyarados with Stomp and then take out Growlithe with Crab Hammer. Next up is Alakazam, who could easily take me out with 1 Psychic, but I get lucky and get 2 flinches with Stomp. This was a very difficult match to win, but eventually I'm able to pull it off and get the win. This battle was hard enough and now I have to grind for the Elite Four. Krabby is doing extremely well for his level, but I know level 64 is nowhere near where I need to be to win. After spending multiple hours grinding and finding every rare candy we could get, we eventually get Krabby all the way up to level 80. First up is Lorelei with her Ice-type Pokemon. She leads off with the level 52 Dugong, who goes down to 2 Stomps. Her next Pokemon is a Cloyster level 51, who gets taken out with 1 Guillotine. Next up is our Slowbro at level 52, who gets hit with a critical Stomp and I get the flinch. 1 more Stomp's enough to take it out. Next out is Jinx, who takes a Stomp and barely survives, uses Attract, but luckily Krabby doesn't care for love and kills Jinx anyway. Last up is our level 54 Laparis, which definitely caused us the most trouble. After getting lucky Stomp flinches, she heals up Laparis with a full restore. We hit Laparis with a couple more Stomps and luckily the second one makes her flinch, so we're able to finish off Laparis with 1 more Stomp. That's Lorelei out of the way. Next up is Bruno. Of course Bruno has fighting type Pokemon and a few Onix. Bruno's first Pokemon is a level 51 Onix who hits us with Earthquake as we hit him with a Mud Shot. Unfortunately, Onix gets healed up with a full restore and we hit him with 1 more Mud Shot and a Crab Hammer to finish him off. Next up is a level 53 Hitmonchan who gets flinched by Stomp and we take him out with 1 more. Next up is Hitmonlee who hits us with Mega Kick, but we do easily take him out. Next up is Machamp who hits us with Scary Face and Cross Chop, but it's not enough to take Krabby out and we're able to finish him off with another Stomp. Bruno's last Pokemon is a level 54 Onix who gets taken out with a couple Mud Shots. This was honestly my first attempt and I really didn't expect it to go this well, but hey, I'll take it. Next up is Elite Four member Agatha. Agatha starts off with a Gengar who likes to use Toxic and Double Team, which I'm definitely not a fan of. Even though she sets up some double teams, Krabby still manages to hit every single Crab Hammer. And luckily we're able to get past her first Gengar without taking any damage, even though we were confused. Luckily we were able to take out her next Pokemon Golbat with 1 Guillotine. Next out is her Arbok. We get lucky and hit another Guillotine, which only has a 30% accuracy. Her next Pokemon is a level 58 Gengar who, in order to KO, we needed 2 critical hits in a row. Luckily we get that after many attempts. Her last Pokemon is Haunter who likes to use Curse, but luckily we get 2 Crab Hammers off, easily taking it out. After about 2 hours of attempts, we finally defeat Agatha and move on to Lance. At this point we're running low on power points, so we go ahead and use our last elixir on Lance. As much as I don't like using Guillotine, we have to rely on it for this battle. Gyarados comes out and luckily we get the Guillotine hit, easily taking him out. Next he sends out 2 Dragonairs who are a pain to deal with and we have to take out with Guillotine. We have to do the same thing for Dragonite, but trust me, we will not be using Guillotine for the champion battle because that's lame. Next up is his level 58 Aerodactyl who likes to use Agent Power and Hyper Beam. I accidentally misclick here and use Stomp and then follow it up with a Crab Hammer which almost takes him out. Unfortunately, Lance has a full restore which of course he uses on Aerodactyl, bringing him back to full health. As Aerodactyl gets healed up, I miss my Crab Hammer, giving Lance a chance to get back into the battle. Aerodactyl then goes for Agent Power and then we return with Crab Hammer. Agent Power didn't do that much damage to Krabby, but I know Crab Hammer is going to do a massive amount of damage to Aerodactyl. Remember how I said Aerodactyl likes using Hyper Beam? Yeah, that's what he uses next, and it scares the absolute crap out of me. Any rational person would think that Hyper Beam would easily take out any Pokemon with 64 HP, but Krabby's somehow able to tank it and finish off the battle with a Crab Hammer. This was an extremely hard battle to do, and I obviously did not have a very fun time winning, as this took probably 200 attempts and a very long time to do. Our final battle is with our rival. Our rival has an extremely strong team now, and we have to be extremely careful since we're not going to use Guillotine for this battle. Our rival starts off with Pidgeot like always, and if we get Feather Danced, of course we have the reset. He heals up, and luckily we get 2 criticals to take him out. His next Pokemon is a level 63 Venusaur who gets rid of his Razor Leaf and replaces it with Solar Beam. Luckily for us, that means we have a chance to use Stomp, get the flinch, and reset his whole Solar Beam process. Next up is Alakazam, who could easily take us out in one hit. Luckily, we get the Stomp flinch, and we're able to use Crab Hammer and finish him off with one more Stomp. Next up is a level 59 Rhyhorn who is extremely strong. Luckily, 2 mud shots is enough to take him out. Now next up is Gyarados, and you'll see why this took so many attempts to do. We had to use Stomp and luckily flinch him every single time or get a lucky crit. Eventually we do get the lucky crit and the 2 flinches. Now Arcanine is able to take us out with a critical hit, and luckily with a flamethrower, even though it's resisted, it does a massive amount of damage, but luckily no crit. We get the Crab Hammer off, and we finally beat the game with only Krabby. You guys have no idea how long that took to do, so many resets, so many attempts, but finally, after hours and hours, we become the champion with only Krabby. I did not look at Krabby's stats before I even did this challenge, and I had no idea his attack stat was that good. But seriously guys, this was a super fun run to do. If you want to go ahead and leave a like, I would really appreciate it. If you want to leave a dislike, tell me what I did wrong so I can improve for next time. That would also be greatly appreciated. As always, Professor Oak comes out and does not acknowledge Krabby, instead says Squirtle. Can I get a hashtag respect Krabby in the comments? But seriously guys, I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button below like I said, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure you press that subscribe button. It shows your support and I would really appreciate it. If you guys want to see a challenge, make sure you comment below because I do read all my comments. And if you guys want to check out my other videos, I did Pokemon Emerald with only Ghastly, Pokemon FireRed with only Pidgey, Pokemon FireRed with only Zigzagoon, and Pokemon Emerald with only Magikarp. And I also did Pokemon FireRed with only Geodude. Can't forget about that. For the first time, I actually bring in my HM slaves to get put in the Hall of Fame because they've been in like 3 of my videos and I think they deserve some recognition of some kind. Alright guys, for real, I'm going to end this video here. If you enjoyed, like I said, leave a like and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and thanks for watching.